Your Denver Broncos just sent a message to the entire AFC West, and the impact is even bigger than you think. All off-season long, when Sean Payton confidently said this team had the potential to compete for a Super Bowl, national analysts laughed. They mocked the idea that Denver could rise again. But tonight, the truth finally hit the league in the face. The Broncos have taken control of the AFC West, and they earned every inch of it. 8 straight wins. Momentum building like a storm. A team that refuses to break. A fanbase that has waited far too long for this feeling. And now, the division crown is suddenly within reach, clearer than it has been in years. Before we go any deeper into this game and everything it means for the playoff race, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Alright, let's get back to it. Because what Denver accomplished today goes beyond a win. It was a statement. A battle they had every reason to lose, but still found a way to finish. Bo Nix stepped onto that field with pressure from every direction, critics calling him overrated, opponents expecting him to collapse, fans from other teams calling the division Chiefs' Kingdom like it was untouchable. But today? Bo Nix became the king of the AFC West. Even Tony Romo said it himself, people across the country are finally waking up to what this kid can do. And it feels incredible to see the standings now. The Broncos have a 2-game lead on the Chargers, a team struggling to even keep Justin Herbert upright. If Jacksonville can force Herbert to the sideline because of protection issues, imagine what Denver's defense can do if these teams meet down the stretch. The Broncos are positioned perfectly. The schedule favors them. The momentum favors them. The belief is real. And here's the best part. Denver did this without one of the best defensive players in all of football, Patrick Surtain too. He'll return after the bye, and when he does, this defense becomes even scarier. Yet even with all that going against them, injuries, pressure, expectations, the Broncos still powered through some of the worst officiating of the season. Nick Bonitto was held on nearly every snap, arm around the neck, pulled across the chest, and somehow the flags just stayed in pockets. Denver fought through it anyway. This team isn't just winning. They're proving who they are, and who they're becoming. What Denver accomplished today becomes even more unbelievable the more you think about it. The Broncos pulled this off without their top running back, a player who has been one of the most productive backs in the AFC West. They did it without their defensive signal caller, the green dot leader who gets everyone aligned. Denver had to adjust on the fly, reshuffle responsibilities, and trust new voices in the huddle, and they still rose to the moment. This was supposed to be the Chiefs' game, the one they needed far more than Denver. This was their chance to regain control of the division. But none of that mattered. Because when Bo Nix stepped onto that field, he unleashed every ounce of fire he had. His right arm kept this team alive, kept drives moving, and kept the Broncos locked into a level of confidence we haven't seen in years. 8 straight wins. Not tied for first, owning first place in the AFC West. And now? Denver is tied for the number 1 seed in the entire AFC. The only team sharing that spot is the Colts, and we all remember the questionable leverage call that robbed Denver earlier in the season. The Broncos are for real. This is the team fans have been waiting for, the team that doesn't just talk about postseason goals, but looks capable of achieving them. Back in August, the signs were there. Denver was building something, and now the league is finally seeing it. When even a longtime Broncos critic admits this team has taken control of the AFC West, you know the momentum is real. Because despite missing starters, despite the pressure of the winning streak, despite having every reason to slow down before the bye, the Broncos refused to collapse. They fought. They executed. They played as if the division already belonged to them. And here's the wild part, the Chiefs might not even make the playoffs. They've already fallen behind in key tiebreakers, and teams like Jacksonville are getting stronger every week. If the Chiefs slip even a little more, Denver won't have to worry about facing Patrick Mahomes, questionable flags, or late-season drama. Those problems may not even reach the postseason. This is what happens when a dynasty reaches its end. Big contracts, aging stars, and heavy expectations eventually catch up. And while Kansas City tries to hold on to the past, the Broncos are building the future, fast, physical, and fearlessly. And honestly, this didn't even feel like the toughest game Denver has played this year. The only reason this matchup carried any real concern was the absence of key players: no Patrick Surtain II, no Alex Singleton, no J.K. Dobbins. But even without them, the Broncos delivered another chapter to one of the most impressive resumes in the entire NFL. Look at what this team has already accomplished. They took down the league's best offense in Dallas. They beat the league's most dominant defense in Houston. They put up 33 points in a single quarter. They flew overseas, came back without a bye, and still kept winning. They marched into Philadelphia on a short week and handled the Eagles in their own stadium. And now? They just took down their biggest divisional rival, a team that has lived in the Broncos' mind for years, and they ripped that rent-free space away. It feels incredible. Every bit of this bye week has been earned. But what makes this win even sweeter is how Denver did it. This wasn't just about beating Kansas City in a game the Chiefs absolutely needed. The Broncos beat the opponent, beat the moment, and beat the officiating. Even major national personalities called it out, saying the penalties against Denver were absurd, inconsistent, and flat-out wrong. At one point, Kansas City had 136 free yards from penalties. And still, they couldn't find the end zone without controversial calls. When Surtain returns after the bye, those cheap yards disappear. Those flags stop costing Denver momentum. And those 7 points wiped away by an unnecessary pick-six reversal? Those come back in our favor. But my favorite part of this entire run is the culture. J.K. Dobbins, a guy who could easily feel frustrated after a season-ending injury, was one of the first to celebrate the win publicly. That tells you everything. This locker room fights for each other. They lift each other. When your defensive leader is battling something as serious as cancer and your general manager is right there waiting during the surgery, that's not just a team. That's a family. And when one of your best players goes down for the season, and his reaction is still, "Let's go, Broncos." That's a culture built for greatness. This win wasn't just another victory. It was a statement, a reminder that the AFC West is shifting, permanently. And here's what makes it even scarier for the rest of the conference: Denver is doing all of this while still carrying a massive chunk of dead cap from the Russell Wilson contract. That weight disappears after this season. Which means the Broncos are already winning now, and gearing up to win for years to come. When we look back later, this will be one of those defining games, the moment the division began running through Denver again. The moment a rising contender announced itself with force. Now, let's hand out some game balls. There are so many game balls to hand out, but we have to start with the man who showed the entire league exactly who he is, Bo Nix. All week long, the noise was impossible to ignore. Critics talked endlessly about his struggles against Las Vegas. They exaggerated every mistake from the Houston game. They acted like he was fading, like he couldn't rise when the pressure hit its peak. And today? He walked into the biggest game of the season and threw for nearly 300 yards with absolute precision. No wild misfires. No confusion. Every throw had purpose. Every drive had life. He redeemed every doubt with the way he finished this game, and that's why we're not even wasting time talking about dropped passes or missed opportunities. He did everything this team needed from him. And more importantly, he did it against the team that has haunted the Broncos for years. He did it when the entire division was watching. This is why confidence around Denver is skyrocketing. This is why belief is spreading. Because the division doesn't run through Kansas City anymore, it runs through Denver. And honestly, the AFC might run through Denver soon, too. If you can beat the Eagles on a short week in Philadelphia, and you can beat the Chiefs at home despite some of the worst officiating you'll ever see, then tell me, who exactly should the Broncos fear? Because right now, I'm not scared of anyone, and neither is this team. The Broncos didn't flinch against Andy Reid's post-bye-week reputation. They didn't care about the storylines, the expectations, or the history. They cared about each other, about the mission, about the momentum they're building together. A massive shout-out goes to Jaquan McMillian. His play today was unbelievable. Even the one deep shot he gave up looked like a clear push-off, and the broadcast agreed. But the way he blitzed on third down, the way he attacked every snap, the way he elevated the entire secondary, that's the kind of performance that defines a rising star. And then there's Vance Joseph. This might have been the best defensive game he's ever called. Every pressure was timed perfectly. Every look confused Kansas City. To do all of this without your top corner, without multiple starters, without a first-round defensive draft class. That's coaching mastery. If this continues, Broncos Country needs to start preparing for the reality that other teams will come calling. His work this season has been that good. This defense isn't just good. It's built for the future. And today, the Broncos didn't just win a game, they won the AFC West. So now I ask you, how are you feeling? Who are you afraid of? Because I'm not scared of anyone, and neither is this team. The Denver Broncos are making a deep playoff run, and we all knew this moment was coming. Let's go.